Overwatch 2 full hog rework patch. KarQ video. KarQ always has the best ones. Let's go ahead and see what you need to know about the hog rework.
The ROADHOG rework patch is live as of Tuesday, November 5th.
And they put it in competitive. Maybe it should have taken a couple days before they put competitive, but get people to understand the abilities. But yeah, I mean, it's okay. Yep.
14th, and he's available in competitive ranked games. So Godspeed, my friends. Anyways,
Yeah,
now
good
that
luck.
he's here, let's go over the patch notes with his brand new ability Pigpen and his reworked Scrap Gun and Take a Breather ability. There's no change to his hook or his ultimate ability, just to be clear. Alright, ROADHOG's weapon Scrap Gun is getting reworked and combined into one single primary fire now, squished together.
Honestly, I think this is fine. Like, it seems like it does a lot of damage there from like 40 meters. Like, you still do as much as Cass. So it's like you have good close range, mid range, the farther super long range. Got kind of got nerfed or whatever because you can't right click that far range. But I mean, let's be real. I think this is probably a overall better change.
The previous secondary fire functionality has been removed. The shotgun pellet count has been reduced from 25 individual pellets to only 16 pellets. Each individual pellet damage, however, is increased from 6 to 6.25. To compensate for the loss of damage from having 9 less pellets, they've now added 4 large projectiles in the center of each scrap gun shot. Each shrapnel volley deals 15 damage each, and that is the compromise of having his original secondary fire removed. The scrap gun now has better overall damage at medium to long ranges. Mathematically, the total damage per shot, if everything lands in the body, is increased from 150 to 160. It used to be 25 pellets times 6 damage per pellet, which is 150. Now it's 16 pellets only times 6.25 damage, plus the 4 shrapnel times 15 damage each. Now with the old ROADHOG, you'd sometimes be in a spot where your secondary fire would just do nothing because of the bundle of pellets didn't explode, or it would just randomly one-shot actually because it was in the sweet spot, like a surprise. Now this change to Scrap Gun simplifies things and makes it more consistent at all ranges. You can argue that the old secondary fire was a fun part of the skill ceiling of ROADHOG because you need to get a feel for the proper spacing and your positioning, and I'd agree with you.
Yeah, I mean, like you did, if you caught one of those headshots, it felt really nice, but I think more consistent damage just is overall probably better for ROADHOG. I think that's like what it is. Like, he feels a lot better than he was before, but still like hard counter by everything, so still I don't think as viable in top 500.
Because it would feel really good to land that juicy one shot, but it would feel really bad when you dealt almost no damage in a team fight because no one's getting close to you or you missed your hook. Plus, getting randomly one shot by mostly a fluke, let's be honest here, was frustrating on the receiving end.
True.
So
that's also true.
This scrap gun change and this rework fixes that, and I honestly like it. I think it's pretty decent at range, as you can see. One final important balance change I need to note is that the critical damage multiplier is reduced from 2 times to 1.5 times. The hook one-shot combo was still possible previously if you hooked, walked forward, and landed that juicy scrap gun shot where some of the pellets hit the head when aiming around the upper chest.
It's like they had to stand still and not move, so I was like, yeah, it's pretty hard. And I don't think, you can't one-shot anymore with it, but then you have the new trap ability. So it's like as long as you throw the trap before you hook, like you're still just dominating everybody. So you kind of have like a new, one-shot as long as you hook them into the trap.
Chest and neck area. But now with this critical multiplier change, it will be actually a little less consistent since that headshot multiplier is no longer the double damage on the pellets or shrapnel that connect. However, you can still one shot if you combo it with this new fun ability called Pigpen. This ability launches a trap that damages and slows nearby enemies.
Still not a fan of trap abilities though. Things that take like 0 skill to throw down on the ground, not ideal. I think would have been better maybe if it's like a skill shot net that still does the same thing, right? That slows people. Like, I'll be all for that, but just throwing more random, things on the ground. Yeah, I'm not a fan of those type of abilities.
It deals 60 damage when triggered with a very small knockup, and then 30 damage per second in the area, and it has a 3-second duration when activated. That means if you don't move, it can deal up to 150 damage total over time. It has a 40% movement speed slow in that area, and its overall cooldown is 12 seconds. One thing I want to clarify is that although the description says it's a trap, it's actually nothing like Junkrat's trap where you're basically hindered and you're unable to move or
just
escape.
slowed.
It's basically a small AoE slow. Think of it more like the old Sojourn Disruptor shot when it used to slow. I think this ability actually adds quite a lot more depth to Roadhog's playstyle, and I can think of 5 quick ways this ability can be utilized off the top of my head.
Okay.
Number 1, the one you're all thinking of, having the trap set up like a Junkrat, like around a corner, and having an enemy accidentally walk over it, get an easy hook out of it because they're slowed. Number 2, the trap is set up in front of you, you hook an enemy, and then they trigger it along that hook path. Number 3, it's set up to the side of you, you hook an enemy, and then use the standard turn pull tech to the side and have them trigger the trap that way. Number 4, you can hook them in and then throw the trap behind them to cut the enemy off during their escape path. And number 5, you can put the trap near your supports so that your backline has an extra layer of protection against pests.
I guess, yeah, you could protect your supports like that, but I don't know. I think like just using it to get the hooks probably the best use. 'Cause I feel like a DPS in the back could probably just see it and kill it before they go in, but
Flankers. Obviously, there's
multiple uses for it.
This quick list, but you get the point. And I have to say, it's a pretty cool idea. And one more thing I should mention is that the cooldown begins when you actually place the pig pen down, so you can, in theory, put up 2 traps in quick succession, like this. You put the trap down, wait for the full cooldown, and then you pull them in, trigger the first trap, get the slow, get the damage, and then toss another one behind them right away so that they hopefully walk into it, continue to take damage, and suffer. Take a breather is the last part of Roadhog that got reworked. And
I think this was a good change for them. Rather than putting on the cooldown, now it's like on the resource meter right here. So it's like if you're playing Roadhog, just pay attention to here. And that's like where it is. And you can use like as much or a little. So if you get antied, you stop, wait, let it go back up, and then you use it again.
Now uses a resource meter. This meter will deplete while Take a Breather is active and recharge when it's not in use.
So it helps a lot with more of like the CC. So you're less owned by CC, but still in like all the games that I've played, you're still just gonna, if you get anti, you're just gonna get pushed. Sigma still dominates him. Yeah.
At full charge, Take a Breather can heal up to 450 health over 3 seconds, and it will take 12 seconds to completely recharge to full if it's completely empty. The original 8-second cooldown has now been decreased to only 1 second between uses and will remain active as long as the button is held. Now for the downsides of this new ability, the damage reduction is decreased from 50% to 30% while the ability is
pretty
active,
huge.
and you no longer receive that amplified healing when the ability ends. Now my initial thoughts are that this Take a Breather ability rework is actually the best part of Roadhog's rework. It is objectively stronger because you don't lose out on a complete 8-second cooldown now if the enemy Doomfist punches you or like the Orisa throws a javelin at you.
Because this was like the biggest thing. This is how you would counter Roadhog, is with like, oh, you see him take a breather? Okay, let's see him, kill him. Now he has no heals. So he has more sustain, but it's like you're still, You
get slept by Ana while you're hitting your vape.
Yeah.
If the same scenario happens again, well, just press the vape again. It's only a 1-second cooldown. Although the damage reduction is lower at 30% instead of 50%, you actually have more agency as a Roadhog player to selectively heal and tank certain abilities and then quickly fight back without being locked in that animation. There's so much more skill expression now if you actually know your matchups. For example, although you can't tank the full Diva Bomb right next to it anymore, take a few steps back so it's not the full 1000 damage, and now you can quickly tap to Take a Breather to tank the bomb, and then stop the heal animation, and then quickly go for the hook on the Baby Diva to stop the remake.
Hold up.
And that wasn't possible previously. You can also now time your new breather to the tempo of Pharah's rocket shots, for example, and even Sigma's poke damage if you're slowly trying to like close the distance on him. All in all, the new...
Honestly, that's some really good info. That's actually some really good info for all the Hog players to do that. I actually didn't really think about doing like the tempo walking up there, so hey, there you go. That is some, yep, no, everyone take the notes. KarQ's got it.
Breather isn't nearly as powerful of a raw healing ability or instantaneous damage.
After playing Hog into D.Va, aren't you also losing? Yeah, I think D.Va is pretty strong. Well, okay, D.Va's strong if you have like an anti, to be able to like hard engage and kill him fast. Yeah, because then you can just use rockets, DM like the rest of the heals that are coming through. So I think, yeah, D.Va's still pretty strong. Like, I think Hog moved up in front of Rhine, right? But he's still at the bottom of like all the other tanks. I think Hog's actually pretty decent against JQ as well, dependent on, you know, what other matchups you have. But yeah, in like top 500 at least, he's not really used that often still.
Reduction, but the improved consistency and use cases for it outweighs the times the players, the Hog players would accidentally waste the ability or completely lose the cooldown due to the stuns or antis. Now, to wrap up this rework overview, I'll read over the developer comments so we can hear Blizzard's thought process on this. But before that, I need you to scroll down, tap the like button, and then share some ROADHOG interactions, questions, and myths so I can quickly put together a Mythbuster video to answer things like,
yeah, everybody go sub to the KarQs.
AoE damage go through shields, or
KarQ got
does
best videos.
trigger if Bob runs over it? Things like that in the comments, okay? Now for the dev comments. The broad goal of the ROADHOG rework was to improve his frontline presence on the battlefield as a tank hero and reduce the frustration enemy players had with how consistently deadly his hook combo has been in the past. ROADHOG's previous scrap gun primary and secondary fire have been reworked into one primary fire shot that is still most effective at close range, but also deals more reliable damage from further away now. His Take a Breather has been changed to a resource-based ability and has been moved to secondary fire for a more convenient control scheme. It can be used more frequently, but will need to recharge its resource over time, increasing its flexibility as a tanking tool and making it not as easy to counter. He now has a new ability called Pigpen, which is a deployable trap that activates when enemies are nearby, dealing damage and slowing them. This enables ROADHOG to have control over a wider area and, with a little bit of pre-planning, can be used to either help protect his allies or further enhance the effectiveness of his hook combo. That is all the devs said. Let me know what you guys think of the ROADHOG rework. Let me know if you've tried him out since he's come out, and let's have a discussion.
Nice video, KarQ. Nice video. Yeah. For ROADHOG, I think he's much better now after playing him. He seems more fun. The damage you output is, you know, just as good, probably stronger. But viability in like top competitive, you probably will not see him still, just because he still gets like, the core problem with him was like hard CC. And yeah, he can survive now with a little bit with like, he can stop Take a Breather. You're still dying in that like very short window of like getting antied and stuff. Or, you know, having a shield and then getting rocked and then like people just outputting the amount of damage. So yeah, I think he's better, but, you know, still not up to where you can compete with the other tanks in the current way Overwatch is played. But yeah, overall, you know, I think it was a good change. Very good change by the Overwatch devs. So hopefully, you know, the next ones that they have to, you know, rework, you know, follow suit with that. But yeah. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe to the YouTubes. Yep. Nice job.